Hello and welcome to the Jank Tank, a weekly series where we build questionable decks and throw them against a constructed ladder. This week we are doing a Storm Herald enchantment-based deck. So this originally started as a Storm Herald deck where I would put a bunch of enchantments in the discard pile, bring the Storm Herald back in, tap all their stuff, and swing for Weedle. I had some problems, mostly in getting to a critical density of enchantments. Even with all that glitters, you still need quite a bit to pump Storm Herald up to 20. So then I went to trying with double strike creatures, play Storm Herald, put a bunch of enchantments on double strikers. We got stuff like Fencing Ace and Swiftblade Vindicator to do it. And those creatures generally just got killed, so that didn't work very well either. I kept playing with it because I think it's still pretty funny to play Storm Herald, so we ended up with a list that is pretty similar to the Cetessan Champion All That Glitters decks that you've seen on the ladder. It's not that innovative, but it adds in red to really ruin our mana base because we don't like consistency. But they add a bonus that we get to Storm Herald for Weedle sometimes. And I think it's worth it. The deck's not good. This is still a very troubled deck that needs some tweaking and fixing around. You can see we've got a lot of 3-ofs and 2-ofs, so I think with a little bit more testing I could figure out exactly what it needs. And go up to 4-ofs of exactly what we want and cut out a little bit of the chaff. But I haven't quite figured out the ratios. And some of these enchantments I just want one of, like the Glaring Aegis I only need one, because you should only have one tapper or blocker that you need to tap down. Cetessan Training you only need Trample once. Angelic Reward you only need Flying once, so I didn't want 4-ofs of all of those, so I cut some of them to make room for things to keep the deck working. Alright, so the way that this works is Cetessan Champion's a 3-drop, 1/3, and whenever an enchantment comes into play under your control, you put a counter on him and draw a card. He's mostly a card draw engine to make you keep drawing more enchantments and fuel your board while you work towards your win condition. So we want to play a Cetessan Champion and just throw a bunch of auras on him. She obviously gets killed. It's a 1/3 that is pretty easy to remove. So a lot of decks like this play Karamitch's Blessing. I found that the mana base is a little too stretched for me to really get good use out of Karamitch's Blessing. It's a little bit too slow for what I need to do. So I ended up cutting it. That may or may not be the right call. We'll find out. But since Cetessan Champion usually gets removed, you also have Paradise Druid as a backup option. Paradise Druid has hexproof as long as you don't tap her, so you can just throw all your enchantments on her, and when you're ready to go, you can swing. Obviously, the moment you tap her, she loses hexproof, and they're going to kill her. But at that point, you've played your enchantments and stalled the game out, because it's hard to attack into a Paradise Druid that's like a 6/5 that you can't target. So your Paradise Druid kind of just holds out, stalls the board until you're at like 6 mana. Then you swing, it either connects and deals damage or removes some of their creatures, or they kill it, at which point you're ready to Storm Herald. Storm Herald's a 3-drop, 3/2 haste, which is fine. When it comes in, you can put any number of auras from your graveyard onto the battlefield to attach to creatures you control. They're temporary, they go away at the end of turn. But everything that's been in your discard pile comes back into play. Usually on Storm Herald, but it depends on what you have in play. If you have a Cetessan Champion when you do this, you can get a bunch of card draw real easy. But ideally, we're going to play Storm Herald, and then slap on like a Glaring Aegis. All That Glitters is +1/+1 for each artifact and enchantment you control. Angelic Rewards gives it Flying. Cetessan Training gives it Trample. Ideally, it makes it big enough for you to get a really big hit in, like hopefully 10 to 13 damage. Usually that's not always lethal depending on how the game's progressed. So also as a backup we have Fling. Fling's a great card for this deck. If you have 5 mana, you can Storm Herald, swing for as much as you can, and then throw the rest at your opponent, and hopefully that's lethal. But even if you're not in that position, if you've got like a Cetessan Champion with a bunch of auras on him, you can do something like attack with the champion, do what damage you can, end of their turn, fling the champion, put all the auras into your discard pile, and then Storm's Herald to put them all back in and swing again. It can give you some good lines of play for extra damage. We have a Pious Wayfarer on the early spot. This is to help block against red. It's good at blocking Scorched Spitters or eating some removal, which opens the way for later creatures. But it also really helps on your Storm Herald turns. When you have a Pious Wayfarer in play and you Storm Herald to get 4 enchantments back, which is pretty typical when you get a good Storm Herald, that's going to give your Storm Herald another +4/+4. It's like an extra All That Glitters in your graveyard if you have it in play. So it can really help add in a lot of damage, and it can actually attack decently at the beginning too, giving you a little bit of extra chipping damage to their life. Sticking a glaring Aegis on it means that you can tap down their blocker and swing for 3, which is not bad on turn 2 or turn 3. The way this deck usually works is that you want to run out your enchantments on your creatures and force them to react to you, and then once they've reacted, punish that tapping of their mana with a Storm Herald to hit for lethal. So we've got Pious Wayfarer, Paradise Druid as early creatures to throw enchantments onto. We have Merchant of the Veil. This is mostly to help discard enchantments out of your hand when you're getting ready to Storm Herald. I don't typically want to cast Angelic Reward, but I found myself doing so if it's in my hand. Like, that's the easiest way to get in the graveyard, is to make your creature big and have them kill it. It works. Merchant of the Veil is good at discarding stuff that you don't have time to cast, helping you dig for lands early, and then being a body that you can throw enchantments onto later. I am on the fence about him. Ever since I started running Relentless Pursuit, I'm not sure I want Merchant of the Veil in anymore. So he's one of the ones I'm considering cutting. But I do end up using his Adventure if I ever have him in my hand, so it's not like I ever dislike having him. It just costs red, and I don't always have access to red, so it's probably better as Relentless Pursuit's copies 3 and 4. But we'll see what we think of it in the games today. Impending Doom is just here as a big aura. You can slap it on a Paradise Druid and attack for 5 on turn 3. You can put it on a Pious Wayfarer and attack for a lot. It just helps you attack well, and then they're incentivized to kill it, which means that you can put it back in with Storm Herald. And just lying around in your discard pile or in play threatens a lot of damage with Fling and Storm Herald. So it's one of our primary creature buffers. It's how we get big if we don't have All That Glitters. Setussan Training just helps you draw a card. I throw it out pretty much as early as I can to help push me into the 4 and 5 mana range. And then we've got 2 Pacifisms. I'm trying these out today. I just recently added them. I think they're good, though. I mean, obviously Pacifism's a great card. It's good for this deck. Unfortunately, when we Storm Herald, we can't throw Pacifisms on opposing creatures. Storm Herald only puts it onto our own. I don't mind throwing it onto a Pious Wayfarer. Just for the Pious Wayfarer buff. It helps make some creature with trample a little bit bigger, and it'll buff All the Glitters. So that's fine if it's in my graveyard somehow, but it'll also stay and play on an opponent's creatures to buff All the Glitters and help buy us some time. I think with the Relentless Pursuit in this deck, we do want to stall for later. I recently switched this deck out of a version with, instead of Paradise Druids, I had Setussan Skirmishers, which are basically 2/1 versions of Pious Wayfarer. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, the Skirmishers got +1/+1. And so Pious Wayfarers plus the Skirmishers made enchantments like Setussan Training really scary, but they were much less protected, and I'd peter out before I could kill my opponent. So I'm trying for something a little bit longer, more stally, to give us a chance to really blow our opponent out with a big Storm's Herald. Land base over here is a real mess. I basically threw in what duels I had. I forget how many lands there were exactly on. 6, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 22. I think 22 is about right. I still get flooded sometimes, but that's just going to happen no matter how many lands you have. And we're usually looking at 2 land hands, so I can't go any lower. I actually came up from 20 with this. 20 was okay when we were on the really aggressive build, but I think 22 is about where we want to be. It's usually a little tight, but with Relentless Pursuits and Paradise Druids, we can usually get there. You want to lean early white and green because you've got Pious Wayfarers you want to play early and Paradise Druids. If you can't get the Paradise Druids, your mana is probably not going to work, and you need multiple whites usually to play All That Glitters, Glaring Aegis, and Pious Wayfarers in the same turn. A lot of the white spells kind of want to be played around the same time, so having double white's very useful, as well as for casting Angelic Reward. Mountains you don't really need until the end of the game, but you do need multiples of them. because you want to go Storm Herald and then Fling. So you need doubles of everything pretty much, but you can get to the reds later, so I prioritized them less than I have my greens and whites. Unfortunately, I'm not really sure there's a great land system for this. Fabled Passage is good. Everything else is just too slow. I don't think this deck's really good at sacrificing the 2 HP for the shock lands, since it usually bides its time and takes quite a bit of damage from aggressive red decks. It doesn't do great against aggressive red. It doesn't have a lot of removal. Can't really shut down something like Torbrand, so it kind of just dies. Your best bet is to play out creatures and hope they spend time burning them. And then once you're at like 5 lands, you can start playing out creatures with enchantments that take a little bit more time to work through and eventually do a big Storm Herald. But this is the deck. I really enjoy the Storm Herald kills with it, but it doesn't get a whole lot done. We're gonna play it and see if we can win a game. 1 game is my goal today. This is not our best deck. Well, this is a hand. Really slow mana. I don't have any Paradise Druid or Pious Wayfarer. I would like those in the opening hands, but we've got our colors, so we won't complain too much. This Attestant Champion is just going to eat something, though. I'm going to say Scorching Dragonfire for this Attestant Champion. Or we could get an AFK match. This is an ideal start for us. Get that 1 free win right out the gates because our opponent was AFK, and then we don't have to worry about how we do for the rest of it. But it looks like they have mulligans. Maybe they're just looking at a really tough hand then. Don't look too happy with this one either. Okay, so they kept their 6. Well, Temple of Plenty. You know, I'll keep that Fabled Passage. I don't mind a Fabled Passage. It comes in untapped eventually, so. Let's try again. Alright, I don't think I want to accept another land. This is probably going to turn into a mountain for us. Okay, so I guess I have an option. Take 2 damage and resolve his Attestant Champion. He's playing blue, so removal might be actually difficult for him. Might force him to use a Brazen Borrower. Start Dismissal. Alright. It's fine, I'm not really worried about the life in that case. I think we're gonna go Paradise Druid next, because that'll let us Attestant Champion. Yeah. Yeah, we'll play Paradise Druid, and then since we'll have 5 lands next turn, plus the Druid if we want, we can go Attestant Champion all that glitters if it resolves. He's obviously sitting on counter spells. He doesn't like my Paradise Druid. Interestingly, he's playing Thought Collapse. That got us his Attestant Training into the discard pile, as well as 2 of our champions, which is a little unfortunate. Alright, it is a mill deck. That could end up being very unfortunate for him. There's one of our Storm Heralds, so we're not getting that one. But he's gonna have to find some good stuff with this Scry, because we've got a champion that is going to resolve. Alright, so I want another red. I do have the temple here, I guess, but I don't really care if he bounces the Attestant Champion again. I mostly want the card draw here. Oh, okay. That's unfortunate for us. I kind of need my discard pile. I think we're just going to lose this Ashiok. That's a lot of mill, and it's going to really do a lot of bad things to our deck. Although, Impending Doom on Setessan Champion is quite a bit of a clock, so if he just kind of peters out now... maybe he'll attack. Oh, he did. Okay. Draw a card. Seems good. Alright. So we can probably kill his Ashiok now, unless he bounces to Setessan again. If he's got like a Brazen Borrower, this is going to be very bad news for us. This is a really good Setessan training that we got. Right, we're down to 24 cards. Trying to think. I don't want him to, if he's sitting on a 2-mana counter spell, I don't want him to counter Setessan training with a negate. He could have an essence capture, I guess. He could be sitting on a quench. So I'm gonna assume this is quench, if anything. We got double fling. Okay, so we got trample. I'm just gonna go for it. Alright, we got rid of Ashiok. That's very helpful. I don't think I really like this Relentless Pursuit. I really like this Storm Herald, but it's it's gonna get milled, so we're gonna put it on the bottom, and if we end up getting to our last card and we get to draw it, then maybe we'll get a good Storm Herald. Oh, alright. Well, we might just lose. So if that's all he has.
Which makes your nightmares sweeter. Your lack of fear, this. My dreams dissipate like smoke.
Well, we might just have lethal here. Like Glaring Aegis, the Setessan Champion will be bigger. I'll be able to attack for 2, 9 is 11, and fling. Yeah, I think we could just kill him. Even if we don't draw another enchantment. We can fling both. Alright, so we're going to Glaring Aegis. Good old fling. Yay! We got our win. Double Drawn Secrets is rough, but it's a card that you can't use protecting yourself, so kind of overran it. Let's try it again. I was really worried he was going to pull out a Brazen Borrower. That would have been terrible news for us. Okay, this seems reasonable. Need a little more steam to actually get anywhere, but seems okay. So I actually don't have the mana to put an enchantment on him. Alright, so I guess we're going to scry. Can't play that next turn. I think I'm actually going to pass on the Paradise Druid. We're going to try and block. He's probably just going to shock it and play a Scorch Spitter. Okay. Looks like we survived one round. We got the Paradise Druid anyways. Oh, we can play it next turn. So, all that glitters now seems a lot worse, because 3 mana is the point where you can just like Scorching Dragonfire. Scorching's 2, isn't it? Yeah, it's just bad. However, I don't know if I have a choice. Forcing him to burn removal right now seems okay. And I'll put the all that glitters in our discard pile, which is our eventual goal. So this Pack Mastiff gets +1/+1. No attacks. We want to block, even if we're not going to. If he's killing the Wayfarer, he's not pumping the Banneret or Pack Mastiff. Oh, nice. Seems good. I'm okay with this turn of events, though. I will trade for his Dangerous Creature, and he'll pacifism the Pack Mastiff. I might wait a turn. Chandra's Spitfire is a lot more dangerous than a 3/3. Okay, so I can either Paradise... Yeah, I think in this case I'm better served just ramping myself. I'll take 3 damage from the attack, maybe more depending on what he plays. But I'll get to see if he plays out a more dangerous creature. Yeah, like Torbrand. Okay, see, I want to pacifism that. Still taking damage from this Pack Mastiff, though. His next turn, if I draw lands... Oh. I'm kind of okay with that. See, this Doom here would be good if I had a Fling. Wouldn't be that good. I'd take a bunch of damage. This Impending Doom is actually very bad for me at the moment. I think my best bet is to hope to draw a land and play Angelic Reward on Paradise Druid for blocks. It would be big enough to block Phoenix of Ash once. It'll pump itself. Alright. He's still got a hand of cards. I feel like... No. He can draw the cards and have spent that mana. I can't afford to give him that much free damage when my game is to stall. No blocks. Oh, I did get the Fling, which is not a land. Hmm. Oh, I didn't count my mana correctly. We'll just submit 0. So I'm going to trade the Pack Mastiff, I think. We'll end up flinging the Paradise Druid at something. Should just take care of the Scorch Spitter right now. Is he just gonna escape the Phoenix? Actually, I think with the Phoenix escape, if he goes for that route, I'm just gonna block the Mastiff with the Storm Herald and throw it at the Phoenix. Okay, he did not do that. I think I'm okay with this trade here. Oh, we may get ourselves a good tempo swing here. Death to the Pack Mastiff. Embercleave's a good card. It's gonna be a lot of trouble for us, in exactly one turn when he escapes the Phoenix of Ash. That's not good. I think we've lost this one. Relentless Pursuit. I am positive that that is the solution. The funny thing is, it actually could provide us quite a bit of assistance. I don't know if it's if he has a land, then it's probably not enough assistance. We definitely don't want that. And we didn't get anything good enough in our Relentless Pursuit. We needed a Storm Herald plus, like, 2 Angelic Rewards and all that glitters. Oh, he got the land. Alright. We're super dead. That went better than expected, to be honest. Embercleave's a heck of a card. Evil Origami Swan. Sounds evil. This is an okay hand. Okay, I like it. Doesn't look like we got a turn 2 play, so I'll go ahead and do the Wanderer turn 1 and get a Forest turn 2. Or I guess we get all the glitters. Or he's looking at our Wayfarer like he's gonna shock it. Could be dead. I mean, he was targeting it. If he's gonna shock it, yeah, that's okay. I'm just gonna get a Forest and pass. He's obviously gonna play a creature, so I should attack now. My other option was put a red out and wait for him to shock it and then fling it as Pelt Collector. It seemed like it could have been okay, but I don't think it's the best. Yeah, okay. You got it. So we could go Storm Herald just to have something to do. Would be very bad if he has... I think I'm going to do it. He's going to get in for 3 damage. If he has more removal, that's bad for me, but if he has removal, then whatever I'm waiting for is just going to get killed, and he's going to keep killing me in the meantime, so I'd rather him spend his turn right now killing my Storm Herald. Ooh, Sunder Shaman. Oh, when he deals combat damage to a player, destroy target artifact or enchantment that player controls. Okay. It's a little rude. We're going to... Yeah, Impending Doom. We got another Storm Herald, which could be quite good for us. If we don't die. Ooh. We might die. Not gonna lie, we might just die. So we can get 9 damage in, which is close. Is there any way to not just lose? If I had another mana, I think we might be okay. I could, like, all the glitters, and then fling it at the Pelt Collector. But I think... yeah, we're not going to make it. Our best play is to put him to 2. Oh, close. That Phoenix of Ash was a bit of extra hasty damage I wasn't ready for. Doesn't have colors, so we've got to pass on it. This does. I'm going to throw back the Merchant because I think we need the rest of our cards. So, if anyone's keeping track, Merchant was bad. It's not a good sign for us. Dodger is going to kill us. Keep it. Ugh. I hate these hands that just go 3 creatures by turn 2. We're gonna put the pacifism on the Banneret. So I'd rather play the Storm Herald here, but if he's got Shock in his hand, then it needs to be the Setessan Champion. But if he's got 3 damage or 4 damage, most of these decks run Lava Coil, so just kill the Setessan Champion. I'm just going to play the Storm Herald. I think he's probably not stuck on Shock. He will not attack. It wasn't Shock. Slaying Fire. See, Setessan Champion would have died too. Yeah. The only way we win this if he literally draws lands is for the rest of the game. And even then, the 10th Street Dodger is a problem. Yep. Look at that. He only got 3 damage off of his Slaying Fire because he didn't spend real mana for it. But yeah, instead of having only lands, he had only spells. It's a good strategy. Have exactly the right amount of spells and mana every turn. Needed Pious Wayfarers. Did not have them. Only got 3 Pious Wayfarers, so I guess that's fair. Can't expect to see them every game. But yeah, Paradise Druid or Pious Wayfarer would have been appreciated. Alright, we need to draw a land, but this looks playable otherwise. Got a land, so let's get a plains here. Usually white decks we do okay with unless they have Vanishing Light, in which case we lose. So we'll probably lose. They usually have Vanishing Light. Okay, so we've got Pious Wayfarer is our best play. Intercept. Stuff like Pridemate's why I put pacifism in. Without removal, you just kind of have to try and keep up with it, and you usually can't keep up with Pridemate. And unfortunately, if they're gaining life, it's a little hard for us to get into lethal range with our Storm Herald too. But it looks like he's taking his time getting mana and stuff, so maybe we'll be okay. Well, another Healer's Hawk. Maybe we definitely need pacifism. I don't think we have time to play around Banishing Light. He either has it or he doesn't. Pridemate. I think I can block here. No, his Pridemate's only going to get bigger. Blocking here is a little preemptive. I'll prevent more damage next turn with the block. Alright, well, that's a lot of stuff. Don't do this. Don't be this good game person. He hasn't won yet. Let's see what we have. We have another land. Alright, so we have a Storm Herald. Let's see. Right, we'll pay 2 life. Put this All That Glitters on this Attestant Champion. That's another All That Glitters. Okay, so I can kill the Pridemate and chump this, or I can get the champion killed. Getting the champion killed here would still be lethal. I think it's just stronger to just play All That Glitters onto the champion and hope I can get a fling. I think we're doing that. I don't think I want this Attestant Champion dead. Alright, so we have a Fabled Passage, and nothing in the discard. All That Glitters is not exactly lethal. Yeah, now I think it's a good game. We might get a Glaring Aegis. Or we might get a mountain. We could still Fling. Fling is not lethal. Let's discard something. Oh, we got all lands. Oops. Okay, we'll concede now. Oop. We'll go to my audio settings. It's closer than it looks, but the Healer's Hawks in the sky were a problem. And plus, like, the 4 lands I drew at the end of the game. Alright, so we've got Paradise Druid into 2 All That Glitters. That's gross. But not game-winning by itself. That's just a 6/5 Paradise Druid. I really want land. Well, hopefully it's enough to block whatever's going on with this. Man, this deck does not do well against red. Or anything really, but specifically red. It's gonna plop down a swamp and just Angrath's triumph me. I choose not to block your first striker. Okay. So I can Setessan Training here to try and draw a card and let him get in for another point of damage. I think I'm going to do that rather than go straight for all the glitters. Alright, we did it. I guess I'll get a mountain. I could have tapped the druid for, oh no, never mind. I don't have an untapped land. I have a tapped land. It was a sad, fabled passage. Double Cavalcade. Well, it seems like he's stuck on land, so that's buying us a bit of time. No blocks. Alright, I think I am going to cycle this Setessan Training. Oh, that's pretty good. Alright, I feel safe tapping the Paradise Druid right now because he's not going to do anything in response. I'm going to be a 5/3 by the time it's his turn again. He can't kill the Druid or Dryad now, but our Setessan Champion will live if that's what happens, and that's okay with me. Because this will all just come back. Alright, third Cavalcade. And he attacks. I guess that's fair. It's for 3 damage. He gets a zombie afterwards. Okay, that's a good fling, too. Let's check out what's on top. I'll take that Impending Doom. How do I want to do this? Oh, yeah, okay. Alright, so my gambit here is that I'm assuming he does not kill me on my next turn, or on his next turn. 13 damage. It's not impossible. But I don't think he's going to. And if I untap, I can fling and kill him. Or fling, kill him, if not, Storm Herald, swing. Yeah. It's a pretty good setup. This deck does okay when your opponent's mana screwed. Alright, we've built a deck that is still terrifying. Ugh. That's lethal next turn. He's probably like, there's no way he's going to get through both my blockers. I mean, I got us a test in training, so he's not thinking that, obviously. But we'll fling. So obviously I need to just throw some land destruction in here to make it work. I think we got time for 2 more games, as long as they're not too long. So I'll do this one and one more. We'll see if we can get some good Storm Heralds. I'll keep it. This is one of those situations where Merchant of the Veil is appreciated. Not only can I discard something, I'll have a body to throw Setessan in training on. Oh, that is exactly what went at discard too. No, he has time to cast Angelic Reward. Get out of here, 5 mana spell. That's mana with which I could use to cast Angelic Reward. Let's see if he instantly dies. No, he didn't. So I guess difficult question. Do I Setessan Training or Impending Doom? I'm gonna Impending Doom. I should have played the Temple of Plenty just then. Actually, I think this was a mistake. I think I should have traininged first. With Doom on it, he's just incentivized to play whatever removal he has, if he has anything. And then I won't have a target for Setessan Training. Yep. Alright, so Banishing Light and Angelic Reward in the discard pile. Very awkward hand, but if we can get a creature, a very good hand. It's not exactly putting the pressure on us yet. I say that and he plays it like a questing beast. Just punches me in the face. Tristani. Alright, so he makes a bunch of guys. Players gain control of their own stuff. Other creatures get... Okay. This is going to be a pretty good Relentless Pursuit, I think. Yeah! Okay, I think next turn I could win. I've got 6. If I draw a land, I can Storm Herald, All That Glitters, and Fling. He has a Goose up to block with. I didn't get a land, so do I just Paradise Druid and All That Glitters the Paradise Druid and leave up? No. I don't leave anything up. Can't target it, so... More Setessan Training. Alright, so this should help our prospects of swinging for lethal next turn. Destroy enchantment. Goodbye, All That Glitters. That is great news for us. I think we're gonna do it. I don't know what he's got though. Maybe he's got like instant speed fight. Alright, I do want this Paradise Druid alive still. Because it'll let me fling if I don't draw land. So, I'm not dying from this yet. No, I could. This is actually some pumpable mana. Alright. 23 is a lot. I actually don't know if we're quite there. We're just gonna throw this all in Storm Herald. 15. Alright. Let's go. For the coup de grace. Throw the Herald. We did it! Alright, that was a little scary. One of these days I'm going to kill myself by flinging a creature with Impending Doom on it. Did not check that first. Yeah, that's what the deck wants to do. It's fun when it works. It's not a really competitive deck, but I do enjoy playing Storm Herald. Seems okay. I like Paradise Druid as a card. I can't play it on turn 2. Ooh. I do want that. Alright, we're looking at turn 3 Paradise Druid. Look at the plains. Guild Mage, huh? 2 all that glitters. Okay, this is going to be a very good Paradise Druid. Draw cards, copy instants or sorceries, he controls. Alright. With X or less, so... yeah, I think another plains here is what we want. All of our spells are white. Augur Bolus. So he's probably going to take his time setting up, which could be bad news for us. If you run into counter spells, it's hard to win with a Storm Herald when they can just be like, nah. Chemist's Insight. I'm assuming this is going to be like a Crackling Drake sort of deck. This would be a good opportunity to get in for some damage this turn, but I don't feel comfortable with this hand. Okay, I feel comfortable now. That's a lot of damage to burn a 5/6 Paradise Druid. So if he spends a lot of time doing that, that's probably fine since I've got another one coming. Oh, chump blockers for days. Alright. Fun time's over. Although I assume he's not going to block with the Murmuring Mystic. I mean, I could probably sweeten the deal. I could throw out a Pacifism and get in 6 more damage. I don't think I want to do that yet, though. I'm just gonna... So I'm safe from burn, I'm not safe from bounce. If he's playing the Sprite, the Brazen Borrower, this Paradise Druid's gonna be sad. Which is okay with the Storm Herald plan, but we don't have one yet, so we'd be in stall mode. Which it looks like this deck is okay with. I mean, I'm taking damage now, but I'm hitting as hard as he's, much harder than he's hitting back. If he kills the Druid, I can just Angelic Reward this one for a fine blocker until we find a Storm Herald. Yep, there's the Crackling Drake. It's a good card. I expect we'll start seeing those instants and sorceries he's built around. Hopefully he can shock me to the face this turn to get a bird. He did! He shocked me to the face. Well, that makes things hard. So obviously, this is fine as an attack. I'm just gonna get chumped as long as he can cast spells, which is gonna be literally forever. So we're going to Angelic Reward. Oh, yeah. Did that poorly then. I can't block with the druid as well as angelic reward it. So I guess I'm going to just trade with the guild mage when he offers again. Do you have a glaring Aegis on this, right? Yes. Nothing. Discard. There's a lot of draws that would be good for me right now. Glaring Aegis would not be great. So Test and Training would be good. Fling would be good. I'll trade. Pious Wayfarer. Okay. It's fine blocking either of these, so I guess we can keep punching. Okay, that's fair. Take potentially 3 if he attacks. I feel like he wouldn't. Get 2 in. Save. Now he can make birds forever. He's gonna make birds forever. Hope we can get a fling. Oh, research. Rave counters. Okay, we're on a clock now. Angelic Reward doesn't seem good, so I think we're just gonna stop attacking. This deck really could use some card quality filtering. That's what it needs the most. Well, he's tapped out. Good time to draw a fling. Impending Doom. I don't think that helps. Can force his Murmuring Mystic to attack. 2, 3... 4, 5, 6. I'm wondering if I'm just dead anyways. So he swings out, I take, assuming I block one of the ones over here, I take 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage. Yeah. I have to play the Storm Herald. And if he has any sort of direct damage, I just lose. It's gonna be too bad. I don't know how close we were to a fling or a war training or something. Yeah. He got it. Good game. Close. These are a lot different from the decks that I had played against previously. Seemed to be nothing but Agent of Treacheries and Thosses while I was testing it. It's obnoxious. Yeah, so it played about how we expected. The merchants were okay sometimes and not great other times. I really liked casting Relentless Pursuit. Those games we did seem to have time for it. but in general, I think it's a little too slow. Pacifism's probably safe to go to 4 of. You're never really disappointed to see Pacifism. Like, it buys you time, which is what this deck wants to set up, so you're probably correct to play 4 Pacifisms. If we took out the Merchants, though, we could go with Thrill of Possibility as a replacement, discard a card, draw 2. That's basically what he does anyways. He just has the body. I think the body makes him better than Thrill, but if you're kind of tight on mana, then you can try playing Thrill instead. It's a little bit faster. I haven't tried it, but I was looking at Wolfwillow Haven. It's an aura that makes your lands tap for more. I like having extra mana for this deck. It lets you do double plays a lot of turns, which you kind of need to do before your opponent kills your stuff. So getting extra mana is nice. As an aura, it buffs all the glitters, combos with Setessan Champion. I think you can even return it with Storm Herald. I'm not sure if you can put into play a Storm Herald. Obviously, it would go right back to the discard pile because it doesn't have a legal target to attach to. I'm not sure you're allowed to put it into play, though. I haven't tested that. Wouldn't really matter, though, unless you're combat with Setessan Champion anyways. A lot of these decks run Sentinel's Eye because it gives you Vigilance. It's really good on Paradise Druid. You can keep attacking with it and blocking, which saves you a little bit of health and keeps it protected at all times. I like Glaring Aegis, though. Tapping down their blocker is really nice. It lets you get in early damage relatively easily, and it makes their Storm Herald turns a lot more consistent. I don't think I'm willing to give up Glaring Aegis just for Sentinel's Eye. With this deck, I think I'm willing to be more patient and just not attack with the Paradise Druid if it's not feasible. So yeah, I think probably wants to go up to 4 Pacifism and probably Fling too. I'm not sure what I would cut for it, though. We start getting rid of Impending Doom, so we're not going to have enough auras to actually kill our opponent. Yeah, I'm not sure. Something's got to go. Might be the Relentless Pursuits. They're good card quality. Like, putting a couple auras in the bin while you find Storm Herald is the dream for it, but it doesn't seem to happen a whole lot. I don't know. It needs some tweaking to really make work. We had a little bit of success today and had some close games, but in general, it doesn't usually get that good. So, kind of pleased with how it turned out today. It's fun to play. Not sure if I like it more than my Grixis Surprise deck, though, with the self-mill popping out Narcomoebas. That was another direction I was thinking about taking with it, was instead of green with the Setessan Champions, go blue, put Narcomoebas and self-mill in. You can get more of your discards that way reliably. Or maybe you go red, blue, green with Relentless Pursuits to toss Narcomoebas in. And then you just get free bodies to toss your auras onto. I don't know. Guess that could work well with Escape Velocity. It's worth testing out. Could be fun. Yeah, that seems good. You play like Merfolk, Secret Keeper, mill yourself 4, get a Narcomoeba, toss Escape Velocity onto it. Swing for 2 in the air until they kill it, and then you just Storm Herald it back for hopefully Weevil. Seems alright. Yeah, I'll have to keep playing with it. I think this deck's got potential. Storm Herald's a really bursty card. It's one of those that kind of kills your opponent, but he takes a lot of setup to make actually lethal, so still figuring out exactly what to do. I've been playing around with the idea of Ox of Agonus. I have 1, so I haven't really tested it well. Discards your hand, draws 3 when it comes in, and then you can escape it later. I just don't trust myself to draw 3 that have a Storm Herald. Like, you can discard your hand and then not get anything useful except a 4-2 Ox, and the 4-2 body's not exciting for me for this deck. So, it's an interesting card. I don't think it works here. But yeah, this is the last episode before I do all my Ikoria stuff. Pre-releases tomorrow. I'm recording this on Wednesday, so Thursday's pre-release events. I'm going to record as many of those as I can and put them up over the next few weeks. And next week on Friday, I'll have a new deck. I already know what I want to build. We are going to cycle our opponents to death with blue cards. I am greatly looking forward to it. So I'll have something interesting to show for you guys next week.